When I went to college, I majored in something called anthropology. That's the study of humankind in all its forms, through archaeology, linguistics, biology, and my personal focus, culture. College is also where I took my first real course in video production, and also my very own directed study in something called ethnographic film. My school didn't offer it as a class, but I wanted to do it so badly that my college advisor decided to let me create my own class and study it on my own and still get credit for it. That's why college is so great. You get to study whatever you want. I made 2 movies in college. One was a scientific study about monkeys, rhesus macaques to be exact, and the other was one I wrote about the power of laughter. It focused on a clown who lost his ability to make people laugh. I've probably made about 100 short films in my life, and I don't plan on stopping anytime soon. So how did I get to this point where all I really want to do is make movies and hang out with people from other cultures? For that, we should go back to the start. And why not through the lens of some of my favorite movies? When I was a kid, I was definitely known as the oddball of the family. I did whatever it took to get a laugh out of people. I would dress up in strange clothes I found in old boxes. I wrote my own plays and performed them in my backyard with friends. And I helped invent a place called Ska Land in the woods near my house. It was a peaceful place until the evil king near Three-Eyed Rock would hear us kids fooling around, and he'd come out to capture us. We always escaped, but I think at some point we actually believed in what we made up. I was lucky to have friends who had imaginations and weren't afraid to use them. My imagination has been one of the most important assets to my successes in life.
You're doing it.
Doing what?
Using your imagination, Peter. Hey, Pockets! Catch! Don't ask!
When I was 10, my dad died of lung cancer, this nasty disease that people can get from smoking cigarettes. He was my best friend. He actually took me to see my first movie in the theater, Fievel, A Great American Tale. And I realized something then. I could escape from real life anytime I wanted, by going into my imagination. I remember sitting in class and hearing teachers' voices talking about math and other stuff we needed to learn. I was a pretty smart kid, and I learned that I could understand most of it quickly and zone out for the rest of class. I'd look out the window and imagine myself fighting ninjas, or getting away from the bad guy, or inventing something revolutionary. Just getting the chance to be anything I wanted. And I loved movies. Man, did I love them. I loved them because they were just like my imagination. They were full of story, wonder, love, adventure, excitement, endless possibilities. Yeah, that was why, because anything is possible in the movies. Anything at all.
How you doing?
Fine.
Nice night.
Mm-hmm. Pizza dude's got 30 seconds.
I remember reading a book called The Hound of the Baskervilles with my class in 5th grade, a story about Sherlock Holmes. I still have no idea what happened in that book because I didn't pay attention. I was creating my own world in my head. I heard a few buzzwords: mystery, detective, curse, giant hound. That was enough for me. I made up my own story with a few details from this book by some stuffy British dude named Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. I didn't need his words, I just used his characters. And then the teacher called on me to answer a question about what we just read, and I replied with something way off base that didn't make any sense, and everyone laughed at me for a minute and then they went back to reading. I was a little embarrassed, and I thought maybe I should pay attention, but before I could start paying attention, I was thinking about something else again. Now, let me stop for a second and make sure something is clear. I did read, but I liked to choose my own books. And I did pay attention in school a lot of the time. The daydreams came more out of boredom when the class was going over something that I already understood. I wasn't a slacker in school. In fact, I got straight A's and I was considered a good student. I just loved the fact that I had this portal in my brain that allowed me to escape whenever I wanted to. By the time I got to high school, I was involved in some sports and other clubs, but I never stopped watching movies. And I got a cheap camera and started making my own movies with friends. Some were pretty good, and most of them were really, really bad. But I was doing what I loved, so it didn't matter. And what I didn't realize then is that I was practicing, and I was making myself better at filmmaking. You have to practice and work hard to get good at anything. So I made tons of movies. A documentary about my sister's yellow fish in her aquarium at home. A made-up story about the history of Ukraine. My own version of a bad popular horror movie. I made fake commercials for products that didn't even exist. And every time a teacher said we could do an extra credit project for school, I would make a video. And the teachers loved it. I was starting to realize that this filmmaking thing was my passion. And my mom totally supported me, saying, "You can be whoever you want to be and do whatever you want to do." She raised me mostly by herself. I had great older siblings around too. And we had this open door policy at our house, which meant we could have friends over whenever we wanted. And any of our friends could just walk in, eat our food, watch TV, play with our dogs, whatever they wanted to do. And people in our neighborhood felt comfortable there. We didn't live in a very diverse community, but our house was one place where all of our differences were embraced. Anybody could come in, and I was brought up to see the beauty in other people, whoever they were.
Did you ever think that maybe you're not too big, but maybe this town is just too small?
My mom and I watched movies about people from all over the world, and I couldn't believe the beauty in other places. Places in real life that my own imagination could not have created. And little did I know at the time, but I was cultivating my other passion, people and culture. My mom passed away when I was 17. The last thing she told me was to strive for more. I didn't know how, but I was going to try. I finished high school in the top 10% of my class, all while I continued to stare out the window, escaping into my imagination when I couldn't bear the thought of real life. I graduated and got into college. When they asked me what I wanted to major in, I knew right away. I wanted to study people in different cultures, anthropology. And I got to go to Guatemala and work with orphaned kids and learn Spanish. And I wanted to make movies, so I did. And when I graduated college, I decided that I would get in my car and drive it around the country for 6 months. It would be my home on wheels. My family didn't really agree with my idea to do that, but they gave me a new video camera anyways as a graduation gift. Just after they handed it to me, my geography professor walked over to me and gave me a big hug. And he told me right in front of my family to get out, see the world, and stay out of foreign prisons. So I did. I didn't know what was to come along that wide open road ahead. All I knew was that I was going to strive for more. I was going to meet a lot of interesting people, and I was going to film as much as possible. I had high hopes, and I knew that even in real life, anything is possible.